Hi, I'm Rebecca. This is my digital marketing plan for Levi's, and we will be engaging New Yorkers who shop vintage. So, quickly in our SWOT, our strengths as a brand is that we have really strong brand loyalty, we've had culturally relevant collaborations, and we've really consistent e commerce growth. Um, our weakness is that sometimes there's this perception of quality over customization and a high price point, especially among people who shop vintage. They're looking for affordable options. Our threats is that there's this changing retail preference due to the rising cost of living. And I think the greatest opportunity we have is to capitalize on the vintage retail trend that's booming right now, which I'll explain further on the next slide. But basically, the global secondhand apparel market is expected to reach $367 billion by 2029. I couldn't find really specific numbers, but I do know that Levi's, Wrangler, and Lee are the top three most popular resale denim brands. If Levi's is not the top, it's a very close second. So I think our main objective for our commercial objectives should be to drive online sales of secondhand Levi's. And then emotionally, we want to engage with vintage shoppers and become um, a secondhand marketplace that they turn to instead of only online and in store. So this is kind of what Levi's is doing really well. You can see in this top left, it's baggy season. They're speaking to Gen Z. They have this really fun photo shoot. In the top right, there's all these reviews with photos and descriptions. And we've seen both of these tactics help sales double from 5 to 10%. The Beyonce collab was incredibly successful. There was an 8% sales surge and 65 million estimated in earned media. And then these two kind of bottom right images are just to show that Levi's is aware that there's this timeless quality and this blue jean look, but there's also a customer desire for personalization that they're trying to tap into with this studded kind of Western style. And then on Instagram, you can see we have almost 10 million followers, which tells us that people do turn to us um, for influential inspiration, cultural conversation, and they think that we have a lot to say and show, which is great. So basically, our customer is the Levi's loyalist who never buys new. Her top channels are TikTok, Instagram. The other one is Facebook, but I will not be including that as there's this pop culture element to the plan that Facebook doesn't really feel. That feels more functional. So she's an 18 to 34-year-old New Yorker who's obsessed with pop culture. She loves the quality of Levi's, but she doesn't like the price. And I have some facts below. You can see, 18 to 34, very popular for vintage shopping, and most people do it because they want to save money. So, our biggest barrier is, like I said, financial. New Levi's start at 70. She can thrift a quality pair for $40 at her local thrift store. Um, but I think there's also an added piece to this insight, which is that she's waiting for two things: the right price, but also a pair that fits well, which leads me to the conclusion that it takes a lot of time to find the perfect vintage Levi's. And that's where we come in. As a brand, we have access to um, an archive of well crafted vintage denim, and we are willing to find, restore, and curate this collection for her. So we're kind of removing the time it takes for her to find the perfect pair of vintage Levi's. So this is our neutral marketing idea. We're calling it Discovered by Dua, Levi's Archives. So Dua Lipa is the pop culture queen. So it's very fitting for our target audience. And we want to invite Dua to shop our archives and then launch a vintage collection curated by her. This is going to be a social media campaign with our site included, you'll see. But yeah, Dua is a mega pop star, and she's also a mega poster on Instagram. She has 90 million followers. She has close ties to New York. When she's off tour, she's usually running around the city, going to restaurants, um, going to clubs, going shopping. She's kind of like your best dressed best friend, and that's someone that you'd want to go thrifting with, if not have them thrift for you. So we think she's a great celebrity partner. I'm going to go more into our customer journey for each channel later on. Um, So for our first piece, this is Acquire, and this is to raise awareness, and we're going to be doing this on Instagram and TikTok. We're going to have targeted ads for women in New York. They're interested in fashion, pop culture, music, and of course, we're going to measure this with impressions, views, and likes. So there's going to be two pieces. We're going to tease the collection with a short film that you see on the left, and Do is going to basically go thrifting through our archives, and then on the day that the collection drops, we'll do a collab post with her. And you can see below our combined socials, we have over 100 million followers. So organically, there will be a lot of reach, but also we'll have this paid element with her. So then for participate, we want to, have all of our targeted ads lead to our site in order to drive sales. So we can measure this by the actual purchases, the web traffic, the click-through rate. But most importantly, this is when they get to see the collection on our site. And as we know, our site is very well designed. People really like it. So we're going to use that to our advantage. The collection is going to be New York City inspired. So it's going to be shot in local locations. So not Times Square, not Broadway, none of that. It's going to be places that New Yorkers would recognize. Also, probably restaurants that Dua has posted about and we know that she loves. But most importantly, something interesting is that if these pieces are from different generations, maybe we could have fun with the pricing. So as you can see, I kind of mocked up a fake ad, but it could be like 80s style, 80s prices or something like that. And then, to continue the engagement, we want to take advantage of tailoring. It's a huge, huge aspect of thrifting denim. Not only do you find the perfect pair, but they really become yours when they fit you perfectly. So, this is a great chance to email all of our leads with a free tailor shop service. We could say something like, "Hi, Rebecca, enjoy free tailoring at any of our shops." And then, we can have a list of the nearest tailors nearby. And yeah, I would say something like discovered by Dua, tailored by us. Now that you found the perfect style, get them styled perfectly. We want this to be simple and playful, you know, match Dua Lipa's personality with our personality. It's not overstated, but it's well done and simple. And that is how our heritage brand is going to break into the vintage market. Thank you.